Arkansas at Florida. The Hogs coming off a loss to Mississippi State. Then they had an open date. They fired offensive coordinator Dan Enos. Kenny Guyton, former backup to Braxton Miller at Ohio State, he will be calling the plays for the Hogs when they go to see the Gators. Now, this is a big one for Florida. I said we're going to talk about Florida coming out of the Georgia game. That is what we're doing right now. This game is huge. Florida, if there is a must-win this season for the Gators, this is it. This is the game that if they win, it is win number 6. It gives them a bowl game. It gives them 15 extra practices. It gives them a chance to work with all those young players and give them the extra time and practice they need to get them ready for next season, because it's really about Florida's youth. How good are their young players? I think if you watch the first series of the Georgia game, they're force-feeding Eugene Wilson. There's a reason for that. There's a reason Kirby Smart brought him up in his press conference unasked. Somebody asked a question about Ricky Pearsall. He turned it into an answer about Eugene Wilson. Those are the types of players. Shamar James, who hurt his knee because of some new turf that hadn't quite taken on the field in Jacksonville, and then played hurt and ended up aggravating it later in the game. Shamar James at linebacker, that's the type of player that Florida has to build upon. Those are players that people like Kirby Smart wanted in recruiting. Florida does not have a roster full of people that they beat out Georgia or Alabama or Texas or Oklahoma for. That's not who they have. They are getting some more of those players. If you look at the recruiting class they have for 2024 committed, there are quite a few more of those. They're working on a few more that they hope will be in that class. But DJ Lagway, the quarterback, is a guy that a lot of people wanted. LJ McCray, the defensive end who just committed from Daytona Beach, he's one that everybody wanted. They've got to get more of that. The difference on the field against Georgia was talent. And I'll take you back to that 4th and 1 play on Florida's 34. Early in the game, Florida's trailing 10-3, and everybody's like, well, why are you going for this? You got to go for that. Now, you may disagree with the play call. This was the play call where Graham Mertz runs up like he's going to do a quarterback sneak. They snap it between his legs to Trevor Etienne. It was a run-pass option for Etienne, and he ends up getting tackled by Smile Munden. It was not a terrible play call either. Smile Munden makes a really great play, but it was not really a choice. And I know what you're saying. 4th and 1 on your own 34 feels like a choice that you should definitely seriously consider. I don't think they had a choice. I think they had to be aggressive. They were going to lose unless they were aggressive at every turn. You either die slowly or you die quickly, and they died quickly. But at least if you die quickly, you did it, trying to give yourself a chance to live. Here's Georgia defensive tackle Zion Logue on that play, because he wasn't surprised they went for it, but he was as surprised as you at how it went.
I was just expecting the Philly shove, like everybody tries to duplicate, or I knew they were going to try to hit it sideways on on a jet or something. But not a lot of teams just tries in the middle. Like I want teams to try, but they just really don't. So we know we have one of the great secondaries. They're going to get to the ball and cause havoc.
Yeah, not a lot of people want to try that D line with all those NFL dudes on it. And yeah, if Florida had a bunch of dudes on the offensive line that they beat out Georgia for, they probably would have quarterback sneaked it. But they don't have that yet. And the question is, will people be patient enough with Billy Napier to allow him to sign a couple of more classes like that? Because the end of the season, the next part of the schedule is very tough. They got to go to Missouri. They got to go to LSU. Florida State comes to Gainesville after Thanksgiving. Those games are very hard. The game they can win right now, the one that feels the most winnable, is this Arkansas game. Obviously, the Hogs have a big reason to want to come into Gainesville and win. They are trying to save Sam Pittman's job. And it feels like Arkansas is trying to give Pittman every chance it can to save his job. Instead of firing Pittman, they allow him to fire Enos. The Gators need this. They need that 6th win. This one is going to be a very intense game because I know Arkansas is coming to play because, again, they're playing for the coach they love. This one's going to be one to watch. It's a lot of games with a lot of really high stakes that you're thinking, well, this one has no stakes whatsoever in terms of the top of the conference. No, but it is a very high stakes game. So tune in, Florida and Arkansas, because this is a big one for Florida. Florida is going to have to win this one and then be patient with Billy Napier because I don't think they have a choice. So his buyout is such that he ain't going anywhere. So you better hope he wins this one and he gets those extra practices and he can help those young players along a little bit faster because that is the goal at this point. So that Florida-Arkansas game, yeah, strap in. It's going to be a fun one. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.